Thanks for tuning in, and welcome to the New Thrive Radio Show. I am your host, Delvyn, and today I'm excited to discuss with you the topic of success and how to reach your dreams, goals, and aspirations in life. But before we move forward, I would like to give a shout out to the Heat 97.3 FM for giving me this opportunity to talk about things that I believe is important for us to thrive and succeed in life. Thrive is an acronym for Transition Hope, Reliant, and Vocal Expression. So when you listen to Thrive Radio, you can expect healthy dialogue, music, spoken word, stories, and other forms of content that all point you in a direction of hope. Our objective is that no one would allow their troubled past to dictate the outcome of their future. So let's get right into today's topic, right after this spoken word. Sometimes my past lingers over my head like a dark cloud filled with rain. A life of sin before I saw a change has me swimming in my consequences, and I'm mentally and physically drained. It's a battlefield of my mind. Satan relentlessly tries to get me to believe his lies all the time. And I'll be lying if I said that there's not moments that he doesn't get inside my head. Because I had so many failed opportunities. So many times I deliberately chose to go the wrong path. So many times I deliberately flirted with sin, and it bit me like a snake over and over again. A hard head makes a soft backside. I was going nowhere with my pride and rebellion. Before I met the Lord, I would think that I was destined for hell and that I could never be accepted in the kingdom of heaven. And that's what the devil would whisper to me. I believe I was nothing and I'll never amount to nothing. Condemnation, guilt, and regret always had me with my head down, feeling disgruntled. I was angry for messing up my credit, upset for dropping out of college before getting my degree. I was angry that I lived a life of fornication and had a child out of wedlock by the age of 23. I hated my life altogether before I put that ring on my wife's hand. I was saddened that I couldn't get my life in order before my wife gave me two little mans. Because in my mind, we needed a house, some reliable cars, and a good savings account. I felt less than because of my poor credit, barely paying rent, and having my family live day to day in doubt. So I would sit there, twiddling my thumbs, thinking would've, could've, and should've. Satan had me in bondage to my thoughts, and I sat there miserable, believing that everything was my fault. And it wasn't until I read the word of God when different thoughts started to surface. Like all things work to the good of those that love God and is called according to his purpose. And what the devil meant for evil, God can turn it around for his glory. That although I'm a character in his book, God is the author of my story. So now when that devil runs that guilt trip and bring up my past or consequences to my head, I quote, greater is the one that sent me than the one that's in the world, and he has to flee because I learned to resist him instead. God is a God of restoration. He's the author and finisher of our faith. So no matter what you've been through or the consequences you face due to sin, realize Jesus can make those crooked paths straight. So within that spoken word entitled Sometimes, I shared how I was dealing with a deep feeling of guilt, regret, and condemnation. I felt like my whole life was a mess, and any goals, dreams, or aspirations I once had in life was totally being dismantled. I was making some decisions and choices that was unwise, and it took a toll on me mentally, physically, and emotionally. Now, wherever you're at, if you're at a place of business, at home, maybe in your car, I want you to just take a moment and think about a dream that you once had when you were a child. When I was like in the 4th or 5th grade, I remember one of our teachers asking the class what they wanted to be in life. Now, at that age, you're not really thinking about what you want to be in life, but there were some responses, and some of the responses that kids had was that they wanted to be a police officer or a fireman. Some kids, they yelled out, I want to be a doctor. I want to be a lawyer. I remember listening way back in the day. It was an artist called Master P, and he had a little skit with his son. And he had one last question that he wanted to ask his son. He said, son, tell me what you want to be when you grow up. and his son said, I want to be a no limit soldier. But seriously, what did you want to be? And at what point of time did you stop dreaming about what you wanted to become? What caused that dream to lay dormant or die? Thinking back to the days that I was very impressionable, or in other words, easily influenced, I could recall a lyric that I used to recite by the Notorious Big, saying that the streets was a shortstop. Either you slinging crack rock or you got a wicked jump shot. And I admit, at one point in time, I digested that verse as my truth. Because I knew people that sold drugs, bought cars, clothes, Jews, but then they ended up in the detention center or jail, depending on what their age was. And some people even lost their lives and got caught up in indictments and stuff like that. So I understood that the streets was a shortstop because I saw it with my own eyes. And to me, it wasn't worth getting involved with. On the other hand, I would see ball players as well that was making fat salaries, buying homes and purchasing cars for their parents. That was the life that I wanted to live. So I had a dream of becoming an NBA player. And one of the primary reasons wasn't because I love the game of basketball so much, but it was because of the amount of money that I could potentially make going to the pros. You know, and I thought to myself, man, that's the life I want to live. I want to be an NBA player. You know, people working at gas stations, grocery stores, or having an hourly job didn't appeal to me as a teenager. Probably because I knew people that had those jobs, and it seemed to me that they can barely pay rent or pay their bills. That was like one of my misconceptions, but we'll talk about that later. But at that time, that was my belief. Oh, you pushing carts at the grocery store? You a failure. You cleaning toilets for a living? You a failure. Oh, you a waiter or a waitress at the restaurant? Depending on the tips that you trying to get, you a failure. That was the mentality. And I really believe that what contributed more to the mentality that I had was looking at TV, such as 106 in Park, and seeing rappers come up and in their videos, they got Lambos and yachts and draped in diamond necklaces and surrounded by an entourage of people. You know, looking at Pimp My Ride, Yo MTV Cribs, where on Pimp My Ride, they spending tens and thousands of dollars to flip a car. And then on Yo MTV Cribs, they showing you these mansions that's millions and millions of dollars that different entertainers and rappers and ball players are living in. I mean, this even added more to the mentality that I had. So I had a dream of becoming an NBA player because just like Notorious B.I.G. said, I was thinking that either you selling crack rock or you got a wicked jump shot. And even when it came down to the rappers talking about shooting people and serving drug addicts, treating women like objects. And in their videos, you could see the cars with the extravagant rims and them flashing money on the screen. And then, you know, when they showing their teeth, you see gold and you see diamonds. You look at their wrists and you see it blinging. And you just thinking to yourself like, man, ain't no $10, $20 an hour gonna give me that. It's kind of crazy because it go right back to what we talked about last week on values. Well, at that time, I valued possessions, money, looking important. That was a value that I had. And also thought about when it came down to certain things that they was talking about that I was being shown. It was like, man, if they spending like 10 G's or 15 G's for a bracelet, just one of them can pay our groceries and we don't got to go to the food bank and ask for food. Yeah, they might be talking reckless, but I don't see them struggling. And that was the mentality at that time. What's good, y'all? It's your boy Delvyn from 97.3 The Heat, and you're listening to the Thrive Morning Show. Today we're talking about success and how to reach your goals, dreams, and aspirations in your life. Please be sure to check out the flyer on the Heat's website for interview requests. Thank you for listening to Thrive Radio. Let's get back to the show. So this way of thinking and how I once perceived life was the catalyst, or in other words, the trigger that ignited some of the decisions and choices that I was making in my life. I used to hear a lot of elderly wise people, or in other words, what young people would say old heads today. But they would say that if I knew then what I know now, things would have turned out much differently. And I understand that now, because what those elderly people were expressing was a sense of regret. And most likely, they had a desire to change their past actions. Whatever way of thinking that they had before, they didn't have it now. I'm pretty sure they probably believe whatever experiences that they went through could have been avoided with the knowledge that they have now. And if they could go back, they would undoubtedly choose a different path. Young buck, you don't know the half. Anything goes, you don't know the aftermath. My body breaks down like a taxi cab. So in this next spoken word, you have someone who hasn't really lived a life, that doesn't take life seriously. And then you have an individual that lived a life that this person already lived, but wish they can go back. And they're trying to convey that that's not the route that you want to go. So we'll come right back after this spoken word. Can't lose, won't lose, I'ma act a fool. No rules, I'ma choose what I wanna do. When I get down, you know I need at least two. It's whatever, cause I live once, no smooch. Raw dog head first, no protect. Told you I'm a fool with it, who wanna get it? No regrets in my life, I need no edit. I'm the god of my life, yeah, I said it. Get money, get dough, get the cheddar cheese. Get drunk, get crunk, I need more please. Sex them up like what? Follow my scheme. Blaze one, have fun, I'm living that dream. I'm an addict, it's a fact, I need to have it. Point out a coke frame to me, promise that I'm at it. If I get the green light, diving in, no jacket. I don't need to turn it up, I keep it on automatic. Young buck, you don't know the half. Anything goes, you don't know the aftermath. My body breaks down like a taxi cab. I ran it to the ground from late nights I had. Like you, I thought life was fun and games. Now I'm laid up suffering with aches and pains. I can barely breathe without machines. That lifestyle that I lived and caught up to me. What makes you think it won't catch up to you? Not at all was it cool for me to play the fool. Ain't nothing sweet, dialysis a week, 10 pills a day. What you trying to say? Fate has a way of catching up to you. I know I'm an old head, but let me talk to you. You say life's a party and your mind is set. I learned in life what seems right can end in death. What feels good for the moment can end in death. Don't let it end in death, change your mindset. I said what feels good for a moment can end in death. Don't let it end in death, change your mindset, young buck. I personally believe it is of extreme importance to have a multitude of individuals in your life that have a desire to point you in the right direction, that you can learn experiences from, that you don't have to travel the same road that they probably went down already. And you have to ask yourself, are you willing and humble enough to accept that counsel? You're listening to Thrive Radio. We'll be back right after these messages.
97.3 FM is sponsored by Gun Lake Casino.
There's always something new at GLC. Now with an all-new, all-spectacular hotel. Gun Lake has expanded with more bars and restaurants, a new high-limit tables room, a spa, and an endlessly incredible hotel. Deliciousness, relaxation, and exhilaration now on a whole new level. The all-new hotel, now open at Gun Lake Casino Resort. Book your room today at gunlakecasino.com.
Thank you, Gun Lake Casino. 97.3 FM is sponsored in part by the sports book for young athletes, College Recruiting Roadmap.
Are you a young athlete with dreams of playing your sport in college and getting a scholarship to do it? Are you a parent with a talented kid? College Recruiting Roadmap is your ultimate step-by-step guide to turning that dream into reality. Written for student athletes, parents, and coaches, this comprehensive guide takes the guesswork out of college recruitment and lays out a clear path to success. Whether you're just starting in elementary, middle school, high school, or already deep into your athletic journey, this book will help you take the right steps at the right time to stand out to college coaches. Available on Amazon.
It's the Thrive Morning Show, from a troubled past to a brighter future, on 97.3 FM.
Are you tired of the same old routine? Feeling like life's just passing you by? Then it's time for Just a Thought. Every Sunday from 10 to 11 a.m. right here on 97.3 The Heat. We'll give you the spark you need to shake things up. Fresh ideas, real talk, and a shot of new energy to help you see life differently. Stop settling for the status quo. Tune in and let's rethink what's possible together. That's Just a Thought, Sundays at 10 on 97.3 The Heat. Don't miss it.
Welcome back to the Thrive Radio Show here on 97.3 The Heat. I am your host, Delvyn, and today we're talking about success and how to reach your goals, dreams, and aspirations in life. Now, if you're just tuning in, I pretty much talked about my whole perspective when it came down to success as a teenager. I frowned upon people who had hourly jobs. I know for myself, I didn't want to work at no gas station. I didn't want to be a waiter. I didn't want to work at a grocery store. I pretty much felt like if that was some of the jobs that I landed, then I was a failure. And the reason why I felt that way was because of all of the things that was shown to me in hip hop, on the movie screen, just my whole perspective on what I felt was success and what was unsuccessful. And it shaped my worldview when it came down to money and possessions and monetary things. So I remember being in college in the same year that He Got Game came out. The movie was directed by Spike Lee. And again, being very impressionable at the time, I was soaking up game from Big Time Willie on the movie screen, when I should have been adhering to the messages I was being taught by my mom, my dad, and my youth pastors. But the world's influence was much greater than the influence that they had at the time. So not adhering to my parents' advice, my youth pastors, or anybody else that was trying to steer me in the right direction, I chose the path that I felt was right for me. Whatever I perceived to be successful, if that involved me stealing or lying or doing anything else as far as being a manipulator, a deceiver, just to get what I wanted, that's what I did. And it's certainly not something that I'm proud of today. Because of me living a reckless lifestyle, I put myself in a lot of different situations in which I had to learn the hard way due to the outcomes that started to happen in my life from living that type of lifestyle. And one of the things that took place when I was in college that I still deal with today is a broken relationship with my daughter. When I was in college, the mother of my child told me that she was pregnant. And the first thing that I said was, by who? So I knew right from the jump that there was a strong possibility that it was my child. I wasn't even denying it, but I was denying it to her. And the thing was that I switched everything on her when she told me. Man, how you know that I'm the dad? What about all them other dudes you talked to me that you was in relationships with? You wasn't with them before? Man, how I know you didn't cheat on me? Man, that ain't my baby. And here I am, because somewhere along the line, I heard, if you have a baby, then your life is over. And I know that this is not new information. And yeah, it's jacked up. It's not right. And it's not something that I'm proud of. But did you know in the United States, there's an estimate of 2,500 to 2,800 abortions per day? What does that tell you? I don't know what it tells you, but what it tells me is that somewhere along the line, out of the numbers of those that's having abortions, they were told that having a baby is going to mess up their life. And I'm not saying that I know everybody's story and what transpired or what happened, but what I am saying is that there is a significant amount of people who believe that success involves you not having children. How many women do you know saying, man, I don't have no children? And it's like a badge of honor instead of like, man, I want to be a mother, or I want to care for my children and raise them and have a family. But it's something totally different than that. So I'm not here to be judgmental on how certain individuals may live their lives, but my whole thing is that how are we looking at success? What is it that we believe makes someone successful? What's good, y'all? It's your boy Delvyn from 97.3 The Heat, and you're listening to the Thrive Morning Show. Today, we're talking about success and how to reach your goals, dreams, and aspirations in your life. Please be sure to check out the flyer on the Heat's website for interview requests. Thank you for listening to Thrive Radio. Let's get back to the show. Now, I already discussed with you all how I defined success when I was a teenager. So let's just have a little conversation. If you have someone that can travel all over the world, can buy pretty much anything that they want to buy, live in whatever country they want to live in, purchase how much jewelry that they want to purchase, has a net worth millions of dollars, but you found out that this person trafficked kids, would you call that person successful? If you knew of someone that was put on a pedestal from all of the assets that they have, the connections that they have, the people that they know, but they were someone that was pimping your daughter, your cousin, a friend, or someone that you knew that was causing havoc in their life, would you call that person a success? See, we have put so much importance on net worth that we overlook a person's character. A lot of times we want to find out, man, what's the net worth of this person? Or what's the net worth of that person? And that's how we determine how important they are to us, or how successful that they are, regardless of what they do and how they treat people. Our thing is trying to find out how successful they are by the pockets they have. That's a heart condition. And it's no different from what I was doing when I was a teenager. So I think it's very important how we define success. And the time that I believe that I woke up from how I used to define success, going to the state building, and they said that you're 99.9% the father. I took a long, hard look on how I treated the mother of my child, how I was living in denial, and how my life was just spiraling down from decisions and choices that I was making in my life. So before we move forward, I want to share a song that I wrote entitled Full Blame. The track was produced by one of the hottest upcoming producers that I know by the name of Red Eye AV. V is in vocal. I was feeling his creativity and sound, so I asked him to produce the track, and he's also singing on the hook as well. I believe this song will be a good segue to having a discussion regarding guilt, regret, and condemnation. Because in order to overcome these destroyers and move forward in talking about success and reaching our goals, dreams, and aspirations, we have to get honest with ourselves if we truly want to experience sustainable change. Here's Full Blame.
I never even met my father.
My dad didn't want to have nothing to do with me, so now that I'm older, I don't want to have nothing to do with him. Don't Don't talk to me about him, man. He's a poor example of a father. First off, I take the full blame. I haven't been a father to you, but I've been pain. What a shame. Lately, I've been feeling ashamed of what I did. Or did be dad neglecting his kid. That's what I did. You live years that I'll never get back. That's a fact, and my conscience is under attack. Knowing the fact, I denied my own. On my behalf, no love was shown. And now I try to reach out to you when you halfway grown. There's no excuse. Me absent was a form of abuse. And this pain that I feel is something that I can't break loose. It's hard to look in the mirror, stand and face myself, knowing that I neglected you, thinking of myself. Look where my selfish acts, they're landing me at. I'm disconnected from you, and I feel like a fool. I'm pregnant by you. I didn't want to believe it was true. Was in denial, but in my heart, I already knew.
I've caused you pain, I've given you grief. We've been at war, but I'm begging for peace. I'm begging for peace, peace. Just give me one chance at least. Your father has changed. I've caused you pain, I've given you grief. We've been at war, but I'm begging for peace. I'm begging for peace, peace. Just give me one chance at least. Your father has changed. Your father has changed.
Self-centered and foolish. In your life I've been useless. You may wonder to yourself, how in the world can I do this? As if your life was a nuisance. I wasn't there for your birth. When people ask about your dad, I know it brings forth hurt. Every birthday was missed. Never knew the days you were sick. Unsure on what makes you afraid. I never came to your aid. Not even sure what makes you sad or what brightens your day. Cause an uncaring dad doesn't care in that type of way. I never heard your first words cause I wasn't around. Didn't witness your first steps and tell you how I was proud. We never played catch or took a trip to the park. I gave you hatred. I was supposed to give you my heart. I take the full blame for not playing my part. I chose not to bother. Rejected you as being your father. But today I'm paying the price. I didn't cherish your life. And you need to know from your dad what I did wasn't right.
I've
it wasn't
you pain,
right.
I've given you grief. We've been at war, but I'm begging for peace. I'm begging for peace, peace. Just give me one chance at least. Your father has changed. I've caused you pain, I've given you grief. We've been at war, but I'm begging for peace. I'm begging for peace, peace. Just give me one chance at least. Your father has changed. Your father has changed. I take all the blame. Take all the blame. I take all the blame. Take all the blame.
Taking the blame can never take away or change what I did. Truth is, I don't deserve to live. I know it's a stretch for me to ask you to forgive. And just the sound of my voice could get under your skin. How dare me try to make amends when I've been gone so long? How dare me smooth over years that I treated you wrong? Cause I don't know how you feel from what I put you through, but I face humiliation hoping to get closer to you. I love you. I know that that's just words, but let my actions speak louder than what you just heard. If you need time to think it through, I go at your pace, wherever it takes to put the broken pieces in place. I'm willing to be there for my grandchildren, and just know your dad's reaching out, praying for healing. I made a poor choice that I'm trying to correct, asking you to forgive, but not asking you to forget.
I've caused you pain, I've given you grief. We've been at war, but I'm begging for peace. I'm begging for peace, peace. Just give me one chance at least. Your father has changed. I've caused you pain, I've given you grief. We've been at war, but I'm begging for peace. I'm begging for peace, peace. Just give me one chance at least. Your father has changed. Your father has changed. Your father has changed.
It got to a point where I tried to drink the pain away. And I remember coming home drunk, living with my mom. And she saw me laying in my car with a hangover, knocked on the window and said, "You remind me just like your daddy." Now, my dad, mind you, his life has changed. I mean, he's totally different how he was back in the day. But at that time, when she lived with him, that's who I reminded her of. And that's when I believe I started to redefine what success was. It wasn't treating people bad. It wasn't being manipulative and deceitful. It wasn't looking out for my own interests. It involves something much bigger than that. For me, my life instantaneously changed when my mom told me that day. I stopped doing the things that I knew was toxic. I got into a church. I started reading my word. And then I started to find out what God said success was, opposed to what I thought it was. So you're listening to Thrive Radio. We'll be back right after these messages.
Tune in to The Doc Show, your ultimate multicultural hit mix. Catch The Doc every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m., playing the hottest and freshest mix of multicultural hits. The Doc brings you the best tracks from around the world. Live and exclusive, the hottest mix of global hits. Unmatched vibes every week. Don't miss out. The heat is on, and it's coming straight to your speakers. Stream us anytime at www.theheat973.com. The Doc Show, bringing the world to your ears on WJWC 97.3 FM. Feel the heat.
97.3 FM is brought to you in part by the parenting book, Spank Your Kids with Knowledge.
Ever feel like parenting is a never-ending roller coaster of chaos? Enter Spank Your Kids with Knowledge, the ultimate guide to surviving the parenting ride. This book is like a cheat code for raising little humans, quick, easy, and packed with wisdom. Ditch the old school spank and pray method. This gem teaches connection over control, nurturing over nagging. Seriously, it's like having a parenting guru in your pocket. Quit now and turn that parenting chaos into a journey of growth and giggles. Spank Your Kids with Knowledge is available on Amazon.
You are listening to the Thrive Morning Show on 97.3 FM.
What's up, West Michigan? You got DJ Jimmy Flair here at 97.3 FM. Catch me every day, Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. live here at 97.3 FM. Make sure you check me out on Facebook and Instagram at Jimmy Flair. I'll be spending the latest in the local artists. I'll be spending the latest in Top 100. Y'all make sure y'all tap in. 97.3 FM.
And I'ma stay there. Oh, you call me in your city, yeah, I probably had a play there. Keep a big chop on me in case it don't play for.
Welcome back to the Thrive Radio Show here on 97.3 The Heat. I am your host, Delvyn, and today we're talking about success and how to reach your goals, dreams, and aspirations in life. Now, if you're just tuning in, I talked about how I used to frown upon people who had hourly jobs or worked at gas stations or was a janitor or pushing carts at grocery stores, or even worked in hospitality as a waiter or a waitress. At one point in time as a teenager, I thought that those individuals were failures based on what I was shown as a teenager through various platforms on what success was according to worldly views. And then I talked about how I was chasing success pertaining to what the world said success was and how it put me in certain situations that was unfavorable. Whatever it took to be successful in the world's eyes, that's what I did. I followed my own path. And by following my own path, I put myself in situations that could have been prevented if I truly knew what success was. And I talked about how I put myself in a situation where I once was manipulative, deceitful, and treated people wrongly. And then I saw the outcomes of me doing that, and I had an awakening that wasn't the right way for me to go. It reminds me of teaching in the detention center and some of the jails and hearing some of the stories of the people that are incarcerated. They would say, man, I tried to get that car. I stole it. It was important to me, but now I'm sitting up in here in jail. Man, you know what, man, I was selling drugs, and what ended up happening was that, I thought that having a lot of money and stuff was very important until, I sold it to an undercover cop. So it's crazy how we would go to extreme measures to become successful based on the view that we have on what success is. So you have a lot of crime that's taking place each and every day because people feel like whatever it is that they do, if it's, robbing somebody or getting money or getting this car, that a lot of people say, man, that's the latest car. It got, all of the horsepower or whatever, people are committing crimes and violence and even taking people's lives to get what it is that they feel is important to validate their success. So as I mentioned, when I had my awakening, I really started to see what was the difference of godly success versus worldly success. Because I was chasing the world. I was chasing the things that people said made you successful. But when I went that route, it brought about a lot of outcomes that I believe was not healthy for my life. So let's break it down, since we're about to go right into success, because the guilt, regret, and condemnation that I felt chasing things that people said made me successful brought me down. It brought me low. I hurt people along the way. It caused me to go into a state of depression and stress and anxiety. And I was not thinking about the needs of others, but I was thinking about myself. One of my fatherhood mentors that brought me into fatherhood, Alfonso Pettis, he shared with me this documentary that I believe changed my perspective on a lot of different things. It was called Hip Hop Beats and Rhymes. Documentary made a long time ago. But within the documentary, the person that was bringing forth the documentary talked to a lot of rappers, even known rappers, about the content that they were making. And there was this conference that they were having where people were bringing their CDs and just wanted to be heard by executives and A&Rs. And when he went to this conference, when he was hearing all of the rappers rap, he was hearing nothing but violence, selling drugs, mistreating women, talking about who they was going to kill and who they was going to shoot. And he asked all the rappers a question. He said, man, you guys are talented. He said, but in your lyrics, why are you always talking about killing somebody? Why are you always talking about mistreating women? Why are you always talking about if somebody cross you, then you going to handle it in ways that can put you in prison or cause you to even lose your life? And they all was basically saying, well, you know, that's what they want to hear. He said, if we rap about fatherhood, if we rap about being fathers, if we rap about being married or any of those things, they don't want to hear that. And when you living in a poverty-stricken area and you trying to make it out of the hood, you going to do everything that you can to do that. So if I have to use my talent to talk about what it is that they want to hear, I'm just trying to get a contract so I could go ahead and make the money that I need to make to try to provide for my family. And that was really eye-opening to me, because what we all discussed this morning when it comes down to success is our worldview. And sometimes what happens is that we go that route trying to make it in the world, and along the way is destroying our reputation, is destroying our character, and we are not serving the needs of others, but we're serving the needs of ourselves. So do you see how this is a issue and a problem in our community? I believe that it's safe to say that this type of mentality, when it comes down to success, has plagued our community. I remember doing work in an area where there were a lot of gang activity as a community organizer. And some of the youth, for their profile picture, they will have AK-47s. They would, flash money. They'll have alcohol in front of them, and they're posing for the camera. And we talked about values last week, but if you really think about it, maybe it's not so much of what they value, but they want to be validated by the world on looking as if they're successful. Because if money and guns and all of the other stuff shows a sign of you having some type of power or masculinity, in which we're going to talk about next week, you don't want to miss that episode, then what happens is that it drives our behaviors and how we treat others, not having any regard for the needs of others. So worldly success focuses on external achievements like wealth or fame or power, and is driven by self-interest. Now, godly success emphasizes internal character, in which we discuss faithfulness, love for God and others. Also, rather than being prideful, you live a life of humility. I believe when you live a life of humility, you don't have this ego like you're better than somebody else. I believe that you're looking out for the next person, and you're fulfilling God's purpose, which I believe has rewards for being eternal rather than temporary. So the world measures success by what you have and achieve, where God measures it by your heart, obedience, and the fruits of the spirit you produce, like love, joy, and peace. So worldly success, it pretty much has you accumulate material possessions, status, influence, and personal glory. And I really believe the motivation when you're trying to chase this particular success is self-centeredness and making a name for yourself. But as we know, we all have a hyphen, the day that you're born and the day that you die. So that's a strong indication to me that when you chase worldly success, it's fleeting and it's temporary. Now, godly success is a life that pleases God. It reflects his character and advances his kingdom. It involves faithfulness, obedience, love for God and others. And I really believe that the foundation of all this is serving others. And the motivation, which is way different than worldly success when it comes down to being self-centered and making a name for yourself. The motivation is love for God, stewardship, and serving his purpose. Worldly success is about personal gain. Godly success is about God's glory and blessing others. So when I discovered this truth, I wrote a song called "This Is Who I Am." And the song pretty much talks about being confident in who you are, regardless of what you see going on around you. So let's get back to the show right after this song.
Raising and loving my kids, that's who I am. Knowing it's more blessed to give, that's who I am. Alcohol and drug free, that's who I am. Let them do them while I do me, that's who I am. Raising and loving my kids, that's who I am. Knowing it's more blessed to give, that's who I am. Alcohol and drug free, that's who I am. Let them do them while I do me, that's who I am. Oh snap, here we go. Another bro with that lane flow. It's too positive, so cheerio. I'm about the hoes and I love the dough. Well bounced in, no pun intended. I ain't sweating you if you ain't with it. I speak the truth, I give a message. You let stupidness be your favorite record. That's foolery, you misled by imagery. They naive and gullible. I test anything said or shown to me, so I let them do them, so I can do me. They hate knowledge and insight, but I got wisdom to see. You ain't feeling me, you attracted to insanity. I speak truth, you get mad at me. All I try to do was break them free from slavery, but you misled, believing the lies that the rapper said. Now that's what I call messed up in the head. But then again, I get why this is over your head. You call it entertainment, just a form of art. I say you deceived and blinded and got issues with your heart. Be myself, that's the move. Stay in my lane, that's the rule. Give them truth when they don't approve. They speak death, but it's life I choose. He's coming soon, you ain't feeling that. I'm out the gutter, but you love the trap. What's up with that? I ain't with that life. I'm a caring father and I love my wife, see. I expose the lies, I demand you to exit left. This way that seems right to a man, but it ends in death. Raising and loving my kids, that's who I am. Knowing it's more blessed to give, that's who I am. Alcohol and drug free, that's who I am. Let them do them while I do me, that's who I am. Raising and loving my kids, that's who I am. Knowing it's more blessed to give, that's who I am. Alcohol and drug free, that's who I am. Let them do them while I do me, that's who I am. Failing fathers hurt mamas, I'm in the jail, I hear the trauma. Orphan children feeling alone, I see the pain cause I'm in the homes. Little dudes on trial for murder, they sit me down, share their burdens. Teachers tired, can't do their lessons, I'm in the class, students disrespecting. Suicidal thoughts become attempted acts. They feel like they have no purpose and can't see where hope is at. Stand in the gap, that's what I do. Give them facts, share the truth. Build up families, impact the youth. Showing data, reveal the proof. I'm in the field, I know it's cracking. Boys and girls getting trafficked. Kids on meds, fathers absent. Checks being garnished from late taxes. Payday loans, cut off phones, bills are due. Kids prostitutes are hell, mama, what's that to you? I'ma help the people, love my neighbor, tell the gospel, serve my savior. You wanna hear about holes in paper, how to hurt people to get your cake up. I'm made for greater, like saving souls. I'm exposed to sin of your own. I do me, you do you. I'm a child of God, not a fool. Raising and loving my kids, that's who I am. Knowing it's more blessed to give, that's who I am. Alcohol and drug free, that's who I am. Let them do them while I do me, that's who I am. Raising and loving my kids, that's who I am. Knowing it's more blessed to give, that's who I am. Alcohol and drug free, that's who I am. Let them do them while I do me, that's who I am. Raising and loving my kids, that's who I am. Knowing it's more blessed to give, that's who I am. Alcohol and drug free, that's who I am. Let them do them while I do me, that's who I am.
So I want you to be mindful that when I talk about success and money, having money isn't inherently bad in and of itself. Rather, it is the intent, actions, and character of the person possessing it that determines whether wealth brings about good or evil outcomes. So money is a tool. And when we chase money and believe that that is what determines our success, we'll do pretty much anything to get it. It can become an idol or God in our life. So I'm well aware that we have a free will to do whatever it is that we want to do. So when it comes down to chasing worldly success or godly success, that's totally up to you. But moving forward, we want to kind of talk about success as an acronym and how we can reach our goals, dreams, and aspirations according to the acronym. So you're listening to Thrive Radio. We'll get back right after these messages.
Student athletes, parents, and coaches, tune in to Jerseys for Life Radio every Saturday from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. I'll be talking about how sports help shape your life. You can listen in online at www.theheat973.com. I'll see you there.
You are listening to the Thrive Morning Show on 97.3 FM.
All Vibe Show. Tune in to the All Vibe Show with me, DJ Queen. Catch the vibe every Tuesday and Thursday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Good music, good energy, nothing but vibes. Stream live from anywhere. www.theheat973.com.
Welcome back to the Thrive Radio Show here on 97.3 The Heat. I am your host, Delvyn, and today we're talking about success and how to reach your goals, dreams, and aspirations in life. Just to recap, we discussed some of my misconceptions of success and also challenged you all to redefine your perception on what success meant to you personally. I also shared that I used to frown upon those with hourly jobs because as a teenager that viewed success as having a lot of monetary possessions, a high net worth, expensive homes and cars. I was just unable to see how someone working an hourly job could ever possess those things. Also shared that by me chasing what I believe to be successful, I ruined my reputation and character by lying, stealing, being manipulative, and it was all for the sake of me thinking that it was going to land me on top and put me in a position to be successful. We also discussed how some of us deem people as successful no matter what they've done. I mean, they could have trafficked kids, pimped, manipulated, or lied to others. In other words, if they had the motto, get rich or die trying by any means necessary, even if that meant robbing, stealing, and killing, but they ended up being millionaires doing it, then we were okay with that. But we never know, however, how much damage is caused by people's actions until we are damaged by their influence. And if we're not damaged by their influence, if someone we know is negatively impacted by their actions, that's when it starts to hit home that it wasn't okay. We concluded that worldly success is vastly different than godly success. Worldly success is about me, myself, and I. And godly success is about loving God and loving others. Check this out. Isn't it interesting that a person who has no car, working some of those jobs that I had mentioned, they could be a waiter or a waitress, a janitor, they could be somebody that work at a gas station. Isn't it interesting that when they have their basic needs met, such as food, water, shelter, clothing, sleep, health, that they can have more contentment, more peace, and more joy than a person that is a millionaire that can purchase anything they want to purchase and go wherever it is that they want to go. Those individuals that work those hourly jobs can have a happier life than someone who has $1 million. And I find that to be very interesting. But there's a root to that. I think that it comes down to a person chasing worldly success opposed to godly success. Now, have y'all ever heard the saying that money can't buy you love? I'm going to take it a step further. Money also can't buy you genuine happiness. It can't buy you good health. It can't buy you time. It can't buy you inner peace. It can't buy you deep, meaningful relationships. It can't buy trust, loyalty, wisdom. It can't buy those things. As a matter of fact, the scripture talks about how wisdom is way more better and profitable than silver and gold. When I think about silver and gold, I think about money. I think about monetary things. Having wisdom is way more profitable than having those things. It's just something to think about. And these are some things that I did not think about when I was younger. Now, like I also discussed, you have a free will to do whatever it is that you want to do. But after this show, I highly recommend how you define success and what you perceive success to truly mean to you now after you've heard this show.
What's good, y'all? It's your boy Delvyn from 97.3 The Heat, and you're listening to the Thrive Morning Show. Today, we're talking about success and how to reach your goals, dreams, and aspirations in your life. Please be sure to check out the flyer on the Heat's website for interview requests. Thank you for listening to Thrive Radio. Let's get back to the show.
So when we're talking about success, we're talking about an accomplishment, an aim, or a purpose for why you do what it is that you're trying to do. So let's go through success as an acronym, and hopefully this could be a guideline for you to go back to, even if you go to the 97.3 website or my own personal website, which is www.delvyn.com. Delvyn with a Y, not an I. Go back and listen to some of these principles that can assist you and guide you on whatever it is that you're trying to do in life. Now, once again, you have a free will to do whatever it is that you want to do. But hopefully, whatever it is that you do, you're adding value to the lives of others. And you're not just doing things for me, myself, and I. For the letter S, set your goals. It's important to have direction. It's important to know what you're trying to achieve and the direction that you're trying to go in. Reason being, you'll be able to set boundaries on what it is that you're trying to accomplish. I'll give you an example. If you're saying that I want to finish high school and you are a freshman, a sophomore, or a junior, or even a senior, and you have people telling you like, hey man, we're about to skip class and we're about to get into this, that, and the third. Well, you already created a boundary that you want to finish high school. So anything that is going to jeopardize you doing that, you don't want to involve yourself in that. So you have a clear direction on what you're trying to do, and you're not going to involve yourself in something that you know is not going to help you reach your goal. So you're not going to skip school because that's one of the goals that you have. Letter U, understand the obstacles. It's so important to understand the obstacles because if you don't know what you're working with, then you're not going to be able to accomplish what it is that you're trying to do. There might be certain barriers. Okay, I'll give you an example. I want to purchase a car. Well, when you purchase a car, if you go to the car lot, they're going to ask about your credit score. And if you have a low credit score, then there's going to be high interest rates. You may not get a reasonable rate because your credit is not where it needs to be. So now it's time for you to set a goal to try to do the best you can to get your credit in order to get a better
interest rate. So you're not paying so much on the car that you're paying double for it. So you got to understand the obstacles. Letter C, create a plan. It's so important to create a plan, because if you don't have a plan, then you're not going to be able to carry out the goals that you have. So when you create a plan, you write it down, you make it plain, and you stick to that plan to the best of your ability. It may come to a point where you might have to ask other people advice who may have experience in what it is that you're trying to accomplish, and make sure that they're included to help you get to where you want to be. This is big. The next letter C is choose helpful habits, clear negative thoughts. That is so huge. It's so huge because if you choose helpful habits, each day you're going to try to do everything you can to ensure that you are positioning yourself to reach the goal that you have. Let's take this for instance. I want to lose weight. Some of y'all New Year's resolutions that we talked about on the first Thrive radio show. That I'm not eating sugary foods or processed foods or going to bed on a full stomach. I'm not drinking things that's going to contribute to weight gain. I'm going to make sure that I drink a lot of water. Whatever needs to be done to help you lose weight, which is a goal that you have for yourself, you're going to start implementing those habits to make sure that you can reach the goal that you have. And when you clear negative thoughts, some of us may have a thought, I can't do this. This is too hard. This is too difficult. I'm not going to ever be able to do this thing. I'm just going to stay this way for the rest of my life. Guess what? There's a word that says, whatever a man thinketh, so is he. That means if you're thinking that, and that's your whole mentality that you live by, and you don't start to clear those negative thoughts, there's a strong possibility that you won't be able to. But if you get up and say, I can do this, nothing's going to stop me, I'm going to continue to move forward, and if I make progress, I'm going to celebrate that progress, you're clearing negative thoughts. The next letter, explore opportunities. It's so important to explore opportunities because it goes back to, it's not so much of what you know, it's who you know. Some of those opportunities that you're trying to pursue in life, if you're trying to become, let's say, a teacher, a doctor, a lawyer, if you're trying to make it in some profession or whatever it is that you're trying to do, there is someone that has experience in what you're trying to pursue. It's good to sit down with them or talk with them or make a phone call and say, hey, this is what I'm trying to do. I'll give you an example. In my novel that I wrote called Out the Gutter, I have never written a book before. I didn't know how to get a book cover. I didn't know how to get it under the Library of Congress. I had no clue on what to do after I wrote my book. But then I spoke to some authors that walked me through the process and helped me get everything that I needed to get in order to make sure that my book was valid. For the letter S, stay on track. It's so important to stay on track because when you get off track, sometimes it's hard for you to get back on. So you want to make sure that, I would say, whatever goal that you're pursuing, write it on a notepad. Put it on your refrigerator. Put it on the wall in your bedroom. Whatever it is that you're trying to do, be reminded each and every day, this is the goal that I have. And since I have this goal, I want to be reminded each and every day what it is that I'm going after. And if I start to veer off of what it is that I said that I wanted to do, then I have to get right back on track. But you got to be reminded because sometimes we forget. So you always want to stay on track. And the last S is show yourself that you can do it. And the reason I didn't say show the world that you can do it is because you want to show yourself that you can do it. You're in competition with yourself and nobody else. You want to do everything that you can
to be motivated, to be inspired, to move yourself forward in accomplishing what it is that you believe that you can accomplish if you set your goals, understand the obstacles, create a plan, choose helpful habits, clear negative thoughts, explore opportunities, stay on track, and show yourself that you can do it. And you can do it.
I have to go after my dreams, and so should you. I got a purpose to fulfill, this I can't forget. My destiny in life won't allow me to quit. Push past the conflicts whenever troubles arise. Never give up, stay focused, keep your eyes on the prize. Because you can't let nothing hold you back. Don't let anything hold you back. They can't hold you back. You can't let nothing hold you back. Don't let anything hold you back. They can't hold you back. You can't let nothing hold you back. Don't let anything hold you back. They can't hold you back. You can't let nothing hold you back. Don't let anything hold you back. They can't hold you back. You can't let family hold you back. You can't allow none of your friends to hold you back. You can't allow your finances to hold you back.
Thank you for listening to Thrive Radio here on the Heat 97.3. Be sure to check out the next episode next week on masculinity.